Hi guys, it's Yvette here and I'm using the new kit for June called Mother Nature to make a layout. You can see my desktop here. I'm going to use a photo of my middle daughter Lily, which I've printed in black and white. I have used a bit of a mixture of papers. I've used a little piece off of the strong paper, and I've also used some Proud Mama paper, which I'm just popping on there, and a little piece of vellum. And then I've added a little piece of foam in between those. It made a little stack to go behind my photo, which I've just hand cut out. I like to use the stapler to staple this together so that I don't have loads of tape in case I want to change something around later. So I'm just stapling that together for now, but I will end up putting some tape in between that. I've cut out the title using the die cut with the word blessed, and I've actually cut it out 4 times just with black cardstock. I like to lay them together to give it some substance, really, just to have it really nice and thick. And there's the die there, and I've already stuck one together, and then just showing you there that I'm going to stick the other ones, but they take ages, so I've sped up, and there's the finished product. So it's nice and thick and it doesn't bend too much, and it's much easier to actually stick down onto your page. So I'm using the stencil here that we got with the kit, which is like a cherry blossom stencil. It's very pretty, and I'm just using black ink and a sponge, and I've sped the camera up a little bit because I do muck around with this a fair bit. It takes a while. I'm not really sure where I wanted to put it, so I kind of hum and ha a bit, so I've sped it up so you don't have to sit through that. So this is just starting a few sprays for underneath, so I've got a bit of a layered look with the flowers that I'm going to fussy cut out. I'm also using the Mermaid mini stamp just to stamp a couple of times up the top of the sprays of flowers that I've stenciled on. So that's there, and then I just tried my picture on with my title to see how much room I've got. Okay, and here's what I've previously cut out, which I've spared you me cutting those out. And these are the papers that I've used. I've used the Fussy Cuts Florals and the Fussy Cut Leaves paper, and also some of the black and white flowers out of the protective paper. So that one is a protective paper there. That I've just cut the florals out there, those ones, because they were really pretty. I was going to colour them in, but I like them black and white, so I left them like that. And I've set that up on a page just to try and get some placement so I knew where I was going with everything. But as you watch, you'll see that it doesn't actually turn out exactly like that. It's something like that, but when I move them across, they get a bit mixed up and I end up having to cut a few more out. So I really enjoyed the process. It was very therapeutic to sit and cut flowers. If you don't like it, you don't have to cut them out quite as fussy as I cut them out, but it is very rewarding in the end when you see the finished product. And I had nothing else to do today, so I cut flowers out. So I'm just going to adhere my photo down. I have the ruler there to make sure it's in the middle, and then I really wanted that blessed there, and I move it up to try and be out the way, but it doesn't work. So I was trying to work out how to actually stick it down because I had foam behind the photo and I was sitting up a little bit at the bottom, so I end up putting some foam squares, little tiny foam squares on the bottom of the letters behind them so that you can't really see them. And I do end up sticking that down. So I started with my main larger leaves, black and white, and the larger flowers that were black and white before I started putting the coloured ones on. And I haven't stuck anything down. I kind of start committing to sticking them down as I go, and it was a little bit messy, and I do have to pull some of them up and re-stick them, so I wasn't pressing them down all that hard. That was just placing some little foam stickers on them and kind of sticking them where I thought they might be good, and then I do change it around. Some of them were larger flowers, and I used some foam, craft foam, to put on the back of them, and some double-sided tape, so that's what you're seeing there. And then look, there I go, sticking that title down. It was moving around, and I wanted to commit with a spot for it so I could move on with completely sticking down all the flowers. And it did take a little while to balance the whole spray of flowers out, but I quite enjoyed it, and I love how it turned out in the end, so it was well worth the effort. I'm just deciding what other flowers that I need on there at the moment. I actually was going to just make this a black and white layout, but when I saw those flowers and how pretty they were once they were cut out, I decided to add the colour in as well, and it turned out really pretty. I was thinking about also just using the flowers and no green leaves, but then when I added the green leaves in, they looked really cool too. So I've added more and more and more, and it ended up taking the whole bottom part of the page. But when I looked at it when I'd finished, because I kind of kept on just going and going and going and sticking more and more down. When I finished, I looked at the page and I could barely see my stencil underneath, so I do go back in a little bit later, which I will show you, and put some more stenciling in, because that stencil turned out really pretty, and it's just a light shade of grey. It's not actually black, it just turned out a nice shade of grey, some a bit darker in some areas, but it was a black ink pad. I just used a sponge. When it came off of the sponge, it actually came off really pale and grey, which I really like the effect of. So carrying on with adding more and more, as you can see. I have got it on fast mode here. I sat there for a long time putting everything in place and moving it around, and trying to get it fairly balanced with the colours and with the black and white ones, and the leaves dispersed evenly and so forth. So it does take a little while for that all to come together. And then this is adding some more ink and stenciling, because I'd covered most of it up and extended the flowers a little bit further than I had anticipated in the first place. So I did do them a little darker than the first run, because I thought it needed just a little more definition, just to go with that title and be a little bit bolder. So I do these ones a little bit darker. Just hard to get into those underneath, get the stencil underneath, so I'm just kind of trying to be careful and not make any marks over the top flowers, and just evenly distribute a little bit of stenciling around the edges to pop out from underneath the flower spray that I've done. So I'm just about finished with the stenciling, and I think Polly, my Devon Rex cat, comes in and hassles me a little bit here. I'm actually sitting at the main table in our living area filming this, and my eldest daughter Ella was sitting across from me, because all three of my girls are at home doing their schoolwork online at the moment, and the cat just thinks that it's you know, that she's allowed to do whatever she wants and sit wherever she wants to. So she does always join me for a bit of scrapbooking, so it's nice to have her in there, but I did have to hoof her out because she wanted to sit right in the middle of it. So I'm just in fast forward for the end of making this page now, and I'm still cutting out a couple of flowers after I put those stenciling marks in, because I felt like it still, when I stood back, I looked at it and I thought, no, it still needs a couple of things here and there. So I'm just going to add some of those gorgeous yellow pearls, the sunshine pearls, which I think are really pretty, just around the edges of the sprays. And I'm also going to add some pink sequins as well, just to finish it off, because they're so pretty I can't not use them. So here I am, just putting some sequins into a tray, and I I don't love the bright pink ones on this particular layout, so I just put the next size down, which are really pale pink, and I just put a few around the edges with the just with some glue. Pop those on. There wasn't that many, they were pretty fiddly, so I sped this video up a little bit for you. And then there's the finished layout. I'm pretty happy with it. I quite like the whole spray of flowers, even though it took up the whole page, and I just stamped the date down the bottom right hand corner. I'll probably add some journaling later. So that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you give this layout a go. It is a little bit time consuming with all the fussy cutting, but it's so rewarding at the end when you get such a pretty result. Here's a few close-ups. I hope you guys share your projects that you do with the kits on our subscriber Facebook page. We really do love having a look at what you've created with the kits. It's really rewarding for us as well to see that you guys have actually made something similar or same or your own creations. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye.